Is it a Monday? Do we have ourselves another Monday? Are we gonna have a Monday? Do we ever wonder what we're doing when it's August Monday? It's gonna be 85 degrees. And we're all gonna wonder if it's really, really Monday. What do we do? Sometimes we have to think to ourselves, what do we do? When we're considering writing the most awful song about Monday you could possibly think about, do you do it? Is it something that you do? Because I would say personally, I write that song in my head and then I sing it on the internet, so it shall be saved for posterity's sake. Is it posterity or posterior's sake? Yeah, I think it's posterior's sake. What's up, everybody? Happy Monday. Good to be here. What's up, fish people? What's up, internet people? What's up, internet aquarium people? How are you? It's Monday. It's hot out. Not too bad. Not too bad. It's a Monday, and we like it Monday. Yeah. Anyhow, it's Monday, August 10th, 2020. And it's going to be hot out today. Not too bad. It's going to be sunny out today. That's not too bad. And we got things going on in the world that are far worse than nice weather. You know what I'm saying? We've got coronavirus updates aplenty. This is going to be about 30 seconds of the coronavirus update. Guess what? It's everywhere. It's spreading like wildfire in the United States. We having problems, and there doesn't seem to be an end in sight. We have over 5 million now who had it. Confirmed test cases, right? Probably more than that, right? I don't know. But it is out of control, and it's totally crazy. I hope it gets better. I hope it's better for you all out there. I hope it just gets better. That's the most intellectual take I could put on it right now, is that I just hope it gets better. Speaking of explosions, Donald Fish Vibe says, guys, what's that explosion in Baltimore, though? I don't know. It sounded like some homes exploded. Last time that happened, gosh, I want to say that was in somewhere in, like, Michigan. I'm not sure. I want to say it was in, like, Lansing, Michigan or something like that, and it turned out it was a gas leak or whatever. So I wouldn't want to make any speculation on what's going on with the Baltimore. Just my heart goes out. I hope everybody's okay. Sounded like some people were stuck and fire crews and everybody were working on it. We shall see what happens. On a pragmatic note, I'm not close enough to Baltimore to make it there to help out. So the best I can do is kind of well wish and hope everything works out. In local news, not too much going on around here, other than the weather at this point. There are some personal things going on, especially related around the coronavirus. We are back awaiting test results. This household is waiting test results again. We are. It's a delight. It's a real delight. It's a real fantastic part of the year 2020 to be getting schwabbed and then wait and find out if you have to quarantine or not. That's realistically what it boils down to at this point. Obviously, the health implications aside, we have to wait and find out if the cold that was going on around here is the coronavirus. So that's the personal situation with that whole nonsense that's going on right now. I did see the Aquarium Co-op in the chat on the fish news around here. There will be some projects going on with professionally with the Aquarium Co-op. So I don't know if there will ever be a video, which is why I would mention it. I'd be like, hey, I'll be heading back up there as soon as I can to get back to work on that stuff. As you guys know, I've been working remotely as much as possible, building stuff for up there. But yeah, I saw the coop in the chat. But hopefully the return of me, my guy, me, I'm the guy. But who was first to the chat today? Randall Bowman, Big D Smoke, and Mary Page Flynn. What's up, Mary Page Flynn? What's up, Randall Bowman? What's up, Big D Smoke? Speaking of the first people to the chat today, I forgot to click on this little thing over here, which, hold on. Uh-oh. What did I click on? Oops. I clicked the wrong button. There we go. I'm going to click on the button over here so we can get our live update on how many green names are in the chat possibly today. Well, it went up to 92, but now it's back down to 89 again. So who knows what's going on. It sounds like my guess would be there's credit cards expiring would be my guess. If I had to guess something was going on, I would guess, so the possibility of green names in the chat, the most we could possibly encounter would be 89. Christine K, I don't want to give out your full name. I don't know if that's what you want on the internet, but Christine K was a brand new member to the YouTube membership, the join button. Thank you very much. That's brand new. Thomas Glazer, Alyssa Bentley, and Fish Girl from Connecticut rejoined, fixed their old credit card nonsense. So shout out to that. Thank you very much. I've said stuff about it in the past that I probably would continue doing YouTube regardless of if people were helping fund it or not. But I think honestly the reality would be you'd probably get like one fish tank video a month. And I probably wouldn't do live streams on here that much anymore. I probably would just live stream on a different channel or something, or a different platform, I think. Seems to be that like Twitch is a much better platform for live streams like this, but who knows? Who knows? But thanks to the aquarium people that help keep it funded so that I have enough time to work on projects and stuff. Thank you very much, and shout out specifically to the people that rejoined and Christine K. Let's roll over and check the Patreon post because it's Monday. We'll see what's up over there. No new posts, no new patrons. So, hey, that's super easy to move right on through there. Zivophorus says, I need more fish. The real trick with that would be breed them, bro. Breed them. Just breed them like crazy. I do have a slightly interesting video that I'm working on as far as fish goes. I did order some killie eggs from overseas, which we're gonna you guys don't know, but we're gonna hatch them. I'll say it that way, right? We're gonna hatch them, grow them out, and see if they're the right species and everything. And I say we're going to do that because that video is not released yet, so it doesn't. I don't want to spoil it for you. I don't want to spoil it for the people that are good enough to show up to the live stream, and then they'd be like, wow, I missed the big reveal, or because you already knew it was coming or not, right? Like if there was a spoiler alert, I don't want to spoil it for you. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to tell you what kind of cake we're getting ahead of time, right? You just want to go to a birthday party and find out, oh my lord, they have triple chocolate raspberry cake with 6 layers of frosting. Oh my God. That's what you want to have happen. You know what I'm saying? You know how it goes. Donald's Fish Vibe says, you certain the Patreon not broken? I don't see why the existing folks not posting questions. To be honest with you, I think that a lot of the people that would post on Patreon, they actually just post in the Discord now. The Discord is kind of like, realistically a space where people can go back and forth and that kind of stuff. So I would think it has more to do with that than really anything else. But there is a pandemic. We have lost a lot of people that were previously sponsoring the show, so we lost about 60 patrons, maybe more than that. I don't really want to look at the numbers because it's like I think the last time I went and looked at the spreadsheet, we lost like 52% or something like that. It's not something that I want to look at. To be honest with you, it's depressing. And there's just nothing I could do about it. It's not like, boy, howdy, I gotta really gotta make some awesome content. Oh, and that's what'll do it. It's, the reality is a lot of people are out of work. A lot of people are tightening up their belt. A lot of people are concerned about the future. They're not spending money in ways like, donating to a YouTube channel where they're like, it's entertainment, right? So that's really what it boils down to. More than anything, I think. Because you're fish, Jerry at Jamie McDonald. I don't know what that means. I don't know why I read that out loud, but I was reading it, and we all have to sit in that. We have to sit in that for a moment. We don't know what that means. Aquawall says, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Thinking to get some aqua soil to grow some under new water vegetation. Yes, do that. That would be good, in my opinion. Caraquatics says, oh my God, catching a live stream. Hi, friends. What's up, Caraquatics? Good to see you. Daniel Velez, what's up, my guy? Hope all are well and healthy. Yeah, as far as I could tell, nobody has informed us that they have lost their health. Though this household right here, we are going through the coronavirus testing again. So we shall see. Jedediah Giel says, talk Corey into giving you the 800. No. No on like so many levels. First of all, it would be, that would just be the weirdest, worst conversation to ever have with somebody who has been wildly generous to me and my family and this YouTube channel. It would just be frankly, a stupid conversation I would never have like that. I actually do have a tank that Corey gave me at one point. It's the 60-gallon cube. He was just not using it. It wasn't something that he was doing. And it was either just going to sit there and go to waste. So we ended up taking on the orphan tank. I think I made a video about driving it south. Oh no, I think I was what was I doing? I think I was driving that south when somebody crashed into me and totaled my car. Anyhow, secondly, that tank's dimensions are really awkward to work in. I don't know if Corey has stressed that very much, but I think it's 42 inches or 44 inches tall. Either way, when you're up above it, you can't reach the bottom. Like, you need a reach-and stick to get down to the bottom. So if you are going to do a bunch of work in that tank, you got to get inside it. which is not something that most people really look forward to doing, of draining the tank down to the point where you can climb into it, and, you know, crawl around in there and hope to aquascape and not step on anything or screw anything up or all that kind of stuff. So it's just not a dimension that I think excites me personally. I think if it was a big tank that would excite me personally, I wanted to do the tank out of a shipping container, which would have been, I think it's 26,000 gallons or something like that, maybe 22,000 gallons, maybe whatever, who knows. That is a big tank that I wanted to do. But I feel like that 800 is just right in that awkward space of, you know, I don't know. It's not something that I would really want to do. Plus, I would have to find somewhere to put it. So I'd have to cut the door. I'd have to cut the door hole in my fish room if I really wanted to put it in there. I would have to double check the footing. As you guys know, I rebuilt the footing for the concrete slab out where my fish room is, you know, in order to handle the water out there. But, you know, like if I take the 240 out of there and I would to put something like an 800 gallon right in that same spot, that's obviously a lot more weight than the 240 gallon, right? So I would really have to take into consideration, do that math, blah, blah, blah. It would just be a lot of stuff. And like there just wouldn't be that much advantage. There just would not be that much advantage. But as far as the 800 gallon goes, I know that last time I talked to Corey, him and Dean were working on a project with it. I haven't really kept up with what's going on. But I know that they're working on a project, and I'm sure there'll be like a bunch of cool videos out of that. Miradul Singh says, what would you have stocked in the shipping container tank? It's a good question. I think realistically, some people were saying that I would put one beta fish in it, just to kind of troll the internet. And I'm going to say that you're wrong. You're wrong. I wouldn't put one beta fish in it. I would put one paradise fish in it to troll the internet. And you know the main reason behind that? I love paradise fish. They're also a labyrinth gill. Love paradise fish. I want to get paradise fish again at some point in time. Some point. The stars will align, the clouds will open, and a paradise fish will fall from the sky into my lap. And I will have to quickly get it into some water before it dries out. But I think I would put a paradise fish in there, first of all, because they do have that puppy dog personality. Like, they're going to come up to the glass because they want some food, they want some treats, they want to do that stuff. It would be much easier for me to film a paradise fish in a tank that size than trying to get a really interesting camera shot of a beta that would just be lost in there, and I probably wouldn't even find the beta once I put them in there. Yeah, and I think that's a paradise fish would be the way to go. Zen Ginger says I'd put like 10,000 neon tetras in there. Yes, but also at the same by that same metric, you know, you're still talking like even at wholesale price, that's like what, six grand. I mean, you might be able to discount it even further, maybe 4 grand, 40 cents a fish or something, maybe even less. Maybe you could get them 17 cents a fish, but that's still 2 grand, you know. So, yeah, you know, when you get into a big tank like that, you really start running into the issues of what are you going to put in it too. That's really kind of one of those things. Gary Allen has one question. Oh, he typed it in. He typed in the question. So he had one question, please, and then now he has this question. I'm setting up my first dirted tank with actual dirt as I live on a small Caribbean island, so I would like to know how many inches should I use. It's a 29-gallon tank. I have recommended this book, and I'm gonna go pick it up. I'm going to go pick it up so I can show it to you. I normally have it sitting on my desk because people ask questions like this. Oh, see, this is what I use. Hold on, let me not divulge any of that. I use my I voted from my mail voting. I vote by mail because it's the year 2020, and I live in a state that is not in the dark ages still. So I vote by mail, and they give you these little I voted things that go on the top, so you have the voucher of the number for what ballot you put in, what the count number was, blah, blah, blah. Anyhow, let's get on to brass tacks. Oh, wait, let me put that back in there because I want to make sure what page I was on. I was highlighting stuff for later endeavor. If you are somebody who wants to do an air quote dirted tank, I'll put my quote fingers up here. I don't know who came up with the term dirted aquarium. It is, I wouldn't say offensive. I would say it's just like, that's not it. It's the Wallstad method. It's this book right here. Diana Wallstad. The Wallstad method. This is the book. If you are doing a planted aquarium using something like potting soil and whatnot, that is the book right there. I have passed on referral links to this, so ecology. Oh, look at that. I've passed on so many links to this, it just sends me right to it. You do not have to buy the hardcover. You can buy the Kindle, which is just $9.99. Let me get the link for you. This is the Amazon link. So I'm assuming if you are in the Caribbean, they have probably the Amazon there. I am an Amazon affiliate, so if people click through that link and you go buy stuff, you can go buy whatever you want. It will help fund this channel. As an aside note, people think you get super rich off Amazon affiliate links. It's not the case. Let's take a look at today's total commission, $1.74. So let's keep that in mind. Making about $1.74 a day is pretty enriching. But the Federal Trade Commission tells me that I got to tell you guys, like, what's up if you click a link to an Amazon. We're an affiliate, blah, blah, blah. I would highly recommend that people buy all of their stuff through my link, but, you know, in the year 2020, everybody's got fatigue, and if you mention something like that, people just generally hit the dislike button and then freak out and call their mom or something. I don't know what y'all do out there in the world, but yeah, that's the book. This is the book. Will explain every single portion of whatever question it is that you have in regards to putting some soil in your aquarium, because that's the way you're thinking that you want to do it. Buy that book. Read that book. Stop watching YouTube videos. Like, seriously. I have rarely, if ever, seen a YouTube video that really explains the Wallstad method and probably only hits 1/100th, maybe 1/1000th of the information that is in here. This explains how to do a siesta period with your lights if you want. It's got all that stuff in there. Read that book. You can download the digital version and start on it right now. You could download the digital version and start on it right now on your Kindle. Just start reading or whatever. I don't know how people read on the internet. I don't claim to know how y'all do it. I have my methods. I'm not going to tell you what they are, because they are very, 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 very conventional, by reading with my eyeballs on a screen. I don't own a Kindle, though. I've just never saw the need. But I do have a vertical screen over here, so when I do open a book, I can read each page at a time. And it's vertical, bro. It's the way you're supposed to read book pages, right? I think. Texas Andy from someone with 9 dirted tanks. I call it dirted because it has dirt in it. I've learned less is more, and you can put it 5 inches, which I have, but when it comes down to it, an inch is sufficient. Yeah, just read the book. Read the book. Hans France, what advice do you have for using CO2 on a budget? The budget CO2 is kind of debated by people around the world or whatever, but I would say 100% my opinion would be look around on Craigslist. Look around on Facebook Marketplace. Look around you. Go outside and just spin around in a circle. You might spot a regulator out there for a reasonably good price. I'm kidding, but through the power of the internet, you'd be able to find some Craigslist posts, some Facebook Marketplace posts, that kind of stuff. Find some wonderful used equipment from somebody out there that is selling it because a myriad of reasons. Who knows where they're going, what they're doing, or why they're doing whatever it is that they're doing. But that is my first and foremost recommendation. Second recommendation would be, it seems antithetical to the budget idea. Hold on. F-Zone Aquarium Regulator. Yeah, it seems that F-Zone has pretty much bought the parts that CO2 Art releases their CO2 regulators as. I've seen them. I've also seen a lot of these same parts showing up on UNS and some other places too. But so this one's $142. I understand that's not zero, but it's not out of the realm for even somebody who's 13 years old to go out and make and save $142. But that's a brand new one that probably has, who knows what the warranty is. I don't know. I don't care. I don't have anything to do with that company. But anybody that's out there could go make $142. It is a possibility. You could save it. You could do whatever. You could buy a tank. You have your CO2. And the budgeting there, the reason that it's the budget is that you're overall going to spend far less money. If you try to go yeast and sugar, you have a reoccurring cost of either getting diabetes because you're drinking so much. Do I want to say pop? Do I want to say soda? Do I want to say soda pop? Whatever. That sugar water that's carbonated that you all drink. I don't drink that. But you're going to get a lot of bills from the diabetes that you get from drinking that. You're going to get the reoccurring cost of sugar, the reoccurring cost of yeast, the reoccurring cost of the tubes and the bottles and everything getting all super dirty, and the reoccurring cost of the time that you spend messing around with it. So let's say you spend 1 hour a week mixing up and making your CO2 because you got to make it like 2 times a week. There's an hour of that you could go out and mow somebody's lawn and make $10 or $20, or depending on the size of the lawn. You might live in Michigan and have gigantic lawns as far as the eyes can see, and you might be able to make 30 American dollars. Who knows? I'm not sure. But either way, you're going to have to buy that sugar. You're going to have to buy that yeast. You're going to have to spend that time constantly over and over and over again. By the end of the year, you're looking at probably 50, 60 hours of messing around with the bottles that you're making your CO2 in, with the sugar and the yeast and the water and high fructose corn syrup, whatever it is that you're using. And in that 50-hour period of time, you probably could have made $142 and a CO2 tank. And by the way, you would still have the equipment that would be worth something by the end of you using it. And maybe 5 or 6 years from now in the future, you're that person on Craigslist going, hey, I'm selling this old CO2 setup because I don't need it anymore, because I'm a wizard and I make so many plants and stuff that all these companies want to sponsor my CO2 regulator use. They sent me brand new free ones, professional grade, and I don't want to use this one anymore because I'm just so advanced I can't use this. You see what I'm saying? You see what's going on here? I'm speaking from the heart. I'm speaking from the experience. Do you want to go out and do a science experiment and make some CO2? Do it. If you're thinking that you're on the budget, you're not. You're not on the budget. You're on the wasting money, wasting resources over and over and over again. Chubbs Aquatics says, what are some good websites to get rarer or more unusual plants that are not run-of-the-mill type plants? I would say any group that sells plants on Facebook is a good place to start. That is more often than not the place that has a lot of rare plants because people are auctioning them off on Facebook. So they'll make a post about a plant that they got. It's a weird species. If they're just trying to sell straightforward stuff, it's probably not going to sell for a lot of money. So generally speaking, people are kind of putting their cream of the crop out there to try and hit that market that it could be sold and in an auction kind of get an elevated price. What is it? HV Aquatics and whatnot. They have a bunch of rare stuff. Liquid Creations, generally speaking, has some rare stuff. Let me see if Liquid Creations. I don't think if I can even just look it up by putting in Liquid Creations. Yeah, yep, there we go. It's just this is a site that is owned by a guy who grows rare plants and sells them online. So you can buy them on there. Let's take a look. So he's got baby leaf Bulbitis deformis live plant. I don't know about the baby leaf version. Maybe it's just a small version of Bulbitis deformis. Those all look pretty normal. Let's see. Rare plant. Oh, yeah, there's some Bulbitis buea. That's a rare plant. So, but his rare plant's $5. So, this is kind of one of the places I'd stop off to find some rare plants, like Cryptocorini affinis metallic red is a pretty rare crypt. I actually have a bunch of it in a tank that I've never made a video about. But hold on to your butts because there probably will be one fairly soon about the Cryptocorini affinis metallic. Mine is all green right now, so spoiler alert, mine's all green right now. Mainly because I have been growing it in a real sneaky secret spot, but I'm going to pull some out and put it in another tank, and you guys will be able to see the video of me doing that because I may or may not have already filmed that. Who knows? It's possible. Janice Lundberg, who's a sponsor of the channel. What's up, Janice? Good to see you. Thanks for showing up. So, yeah, Liquid Creation is probably the first place I stop to find rare stuff. Otherwise, I hit up people I know. So, like I'll hit up Tom or Travis or Dan or I don't know. I will normally hit up people I know, that kind of stuff. But Liquid Creation seems to always have something interesting there as far as the rare stuff goes. So I would check that out. And that'd be a great spot. That'd be a great spot to be at. Christopher Scoggins with the emoji. I don't know what that emoji is supposed to be called. Is it shock and awe? I'm going to call it shock and awe. Why not? I thought Scoggins was a member, but his name's not green, so I'm guessing he must not be. I thought he was, though. But shout out, Chris. Good to see you. Oh, I'm getting tons of junk mail right now. Oh, lordy. Junk mail via the internet. Very interesting to you guys, I'm sure. Big D Smoke says the extra unemployment benefits ended too. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, a lot of people are facing some economic issues right now, and that's a reality, man. This pandemic is it's real. It's just been going on forever, and it just seems to be never ending. Chubbs Aquatics says thanks. I will check them out. Thumbs up, Mark. I'm not an affiliate to Liquid Creations. I forget who owns it. I know the guy who owns it just passively as another aquarium fan person that is just, as far as I know, a good guy that has rare stuff. So I've got some plants in from them. I wonder, did I make a video about that? I think I have a video edited, or I made a video about it. Let me see. Let me see if I did. Videos. Did I open unboxing liquid creation? Yeah, I may have made that video, but it is not public, so whatever. Never mind. I made that video. Who knows? Who knows when videos will go live? They're all scheduled. They're all, don't publish this one, don't publish that one. Who knows? Who knows when it will come out? You would think I was the guy who would know. And you'd be right, but I still don't know. Zombie Drummer says duckweed and Val. Both solid points. Both very, 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 very valid points. Valsnaria, very, very rare, right? Oh, that's right. The Zombie Drummer found Ludwigia palustris in the wild. That's right. I do recall that. I think you were out. I'm just going to say you were out walking some dogs, maybe. But yeah, that's one of those things. I always kind of remind people, like, if you're deep in the heart of the wilderness, hiking about, keep your head on a swivel. You know, you might just find something that you're looking for that could go into your tank. People last week were asking about putting a plant into a tank that was found outside and dropping a dip on it. And I was talking, what I normally do is the extreme Melifix dip. Like I'll do a really high portion of Melifix into some tank water, dip it in there, like drop it in there for like 5 minutes. And I think somebody had mentioned, oh man, what about peroxide? Is peroxide something you can do? And yes, you can. I just would be much more cautious with it and being aware of what amount you're going for. It is something that would work. I think, if I recall, there was somebody in the past that was even using like dechlorinator at like a really high portion, but my memory is just so vague on that. I used to do a lot of drugs and stuff like that back then, so sometimes those memories are just like, huh. It's a little peek behind the curtain of my brain that normally functions pretty well, but remembering certain things can be a problem. And I legitimately was having a conversation a while ago with an old friend of mine, and socially distant, by the way. It was a couple months ago. Came to visit, sat on either side of the yard, but they were asking me about something, and they were like, oh yeah, was that time that you, like, got in a fight with blah, 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 blah? I was like, no, it was a different time. It's like, oh crap, that's weird. It was a weird time where I was traveling around on foot in the middle of the night, and someone attempted to rob me. And they tried to hit me in the face with a stick, like a big tree branch, like a big solid chunk of wood. And they did hit me in the face directly with it. And they thought that I would henceforth be incapacitated from it. And nope, just scratched my face. I have a scar like behind this eyebrow, I think, in my backwards. It's one of these. Broke my nose. Chipped this tooth, ripped my lip open, and then we proceeded to get in a crazy middle of the night scuffle, a roastabout, if you will, fisticuffs, and managed to walk home completely bloody head to toe. Bad times. Not a good time. I do not recommend that to most people out there because once you report that stuff, you realize you got to get blood tests and stuff because strange people may or may not have gotten their blood on you. Anyhow, some Tanganyikan cichlids are great with plants, but not all, from Chris. Just as a general rule of thumb, any cichlids from the continent of Africa, try to go easy on the plants. They're generally speaking not going to do that well with plants. If you're trying to do cichlids with plants, go the South American. They got a lot of variety from South America. They got a bunch of cichlids from South America that will do great with plants, is what I was trying to say. And most of them from Africa won't do that well with plants. I would consider growing a canopy upper of plants if you're going to do like Lake Tanganyikan and stuff like that. That would be my general recommendation. Now, is it impossible? Of course not. Nothing is impossible with enough effort, planning, foresight, intelligence, whatever the word is you're looking for. Nothing's really impossible, but I would just say generally go that route. You'll have a much better experience, in my opinion, and in my experience dealing with people that were like, nah, I'm gonna go against the grain here. How did this get tight but not tight to hold the microphone? Oh, there we go. So yeah, you have this cross thread. There we go. Now there's a mic. Yeah. Now I don't need to fiddle with the mic as much. I'm still going to fiddle with it, but I don't have to do it as much. Had any experience using West African cichlids in your planted tank? Good or no bueno? Yeah, Steve, so I generally kind of answering you and Chris going back and forth there. I would say if you're trying to do cichlids, I would get South American, and you're just going to have a lot better experience. If you're going to go most African cichlids, you're going to have a better experience with, like a canopy of plants or something like that, and just go that route. It's just a better way to go. Have a fight, see who's best. Yeah. Yeah. The bad old days, yep. Gary Allen says, thanks, Corvus. LOL, I can't stop with the videos. Yeah, hey, man, trust me. Well-produced, good fish tank videos about planet aquariums and stuff. I get it. I 100% get it. I'm kind of obsessed with those too. But I don't really watch anybody's content anymore, mainly because I've met enough YouTubers, and there's just not that many good ones that are good people in person, realistically. I don't know a better way to explain it. A lot of them kind of just suck as people. Just not like a better way to put it. I don't know. So I generally stick to most of the content that I take in. Doesn't have a lot to do with fish tanks or anything like that. I'll generally read about fish tanks, read about plants. What was I looking at the other day? I think is on here. What was it? So here's the taxonomy of Araceae. So this is the original book right here, which is essentially breaking down the taxonomy of Anubias and the Anubias afzelii, which is the one that I was very interested in at the time. So I've been, reading about the taxonomy of this plant. So when it was fully identified, where it was located, who located it, how to identify it in person. Then down here's the comparisons between Barteri and Angustifolia. So, this is the kind of stuff that I take in, and I wonder if I can even let me add source. Screen capture smart selection. Let's go smart selection. It's it's an easier way to do this. So there we go. I don't hold any of the rights to this, and it's not my intention to expose anybody's information or anything like that. But as far as I know, this is a .edu website, essentially. It just happens to be a New Zealand one. So this is basically a taxonomy and how to identify. So here's Anubias heterophylla. So here's how to identify from via the stamen and the leaf and the flower, and to be able to kind of identify what it is that you're looking for. As you can see here, it's like cultivated specimens sent to him by Bull from Boma, Zaire in 1887, 1889, and 1894. So here you can see he distinguished Congensis from Heterophylla only because Heterophylla was puberulus. Puberulus, I've never really have to say that out loud, especially on the lower surface of the leaf blade, while Anubias congensis should be glabrous. The types of Congensis were examined and proved to be slightly, I never say this, puberulus. I don't know. That's not one I know how to say. It's not one I know how to say out loud. My apologies. I only read it. I don't think I've ever even tried to say it out loud. Furthermore, I already explained that I do not assign any taxonomical value to a measure of puberulus hairs. Right? That makes sense, right? No differential characters becoming evident. So as you can see, Congensis was placed in the synonymy of Heterophylla. So this is the kind of stuff that I take in as far as, plant content. Like, I just don't watch YouTube videos anymore that much as far as plant stuff goes or fish tank stuff goes. And everybody out there is more than willing to watch whatever you want or whatever, but I don't think you get a good explanation from most people, including even myself, realistically, because it would be incredibly difficult to try and pack that into an 8-minute YouTube video that hopefully people would actually watch. You know what I mean? And that's just the reality. Like, I would love to go film and interview with people that are working in science labs identifying what Anubias they're identifying, right? How they're doing it, how they're going about doing that kind of stuff. And that's why people have, they've asked me, it's like, why would I sponsor your channel? It's just so stupid. Like, you just doing whatever you're doing on here and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, I mean, I think that personally that there's value in any project that is continuing to move forward, and that's my goal, is to continue moving forward and be able to kind of do that kind of stuff, at least identify that stuff moving forward. Obviously, if you're to fly somewhere, it costs a lot of money. To go stay in a hotel, it costs a lot of money. Do all that kind of stuff, and continue going on with those kinds of projects. Obviously, the coronavirus messed with some of the plans this year to do some of those interviews because we were supposed to be in Germany in May, but we weren't able to do that. They canceled that, but that convention should be returning. It should be there next year. So I'm starting to save up for next year's stuff because I basically took that trip money and just put it down on the mortgage in hopes to just kind of relieve some of the fear of unemployment and loss of money and all that kind of stuff. I just put it straight into an account that's locked, and it just pays my mortgage. Then whether people like that or not, I don't know. Whether people like that or not, I don't know. Joel G says, haha, it's almost like YouTubers are generally incredibly self-serving people with massive senses of entitlement. I would not say the cross-section is 100%. It definitely isn't. But if on average the people that you meet on a day-to-day basis, let's say it's let's say that percentage of like self-serving weirdness whatever is 30%. If you were to take a cross section of YouTubers, it's probably 70%. You know what I mean? So while there are definitely some fantastic people out there that are doing Planet Tank content, just a couple off the top of my head would be Green Aqua. All the guys over at Green Aqua are doing fantastic stuff. Love their content. Love what they're up to. George Farmer would be a good example of somebody to like track and follow and see what he's doing and what's, you know, what kind of advice he's giving out and that kind of stuff. There's two examples right off the top of my head that like, oh, there's some awesome dudes that are doing good stuff that are good people all around, you know? So, but there definitely are lots of examples of that. There are definitely lots of examples of the other side of the coin too. So, a bit weird. It's a bit weird. That's why I just don't watch any of that content really anymore. I think the only notifications I get are from like subscribers that have small channels, like they post stuff up. Like I think I have, I think I have my notifications turned on from somebody in the chat right now. Would be a good example. Like if they post a little video up, I want to see it. Hi Clay. Who's Clay? Who's saying hi to Clay? Clay Hodges. What's up? Oh, he's got a little fish avatar. You know he's a fish fan. Joel G's got a fish in his avatar. You know he likes fish. A Flying Dutchie says, is that a picture of you in the background? Right there? Yes. And this is a picture of a shrimp with a crown that I poorly photoshopped onto there. And this is a picture of my baby. Probably like a year ago or something like that. She's much older and bigger now. Yeah, either way. Let's see. Neolamprologus burkhardii. Bricardii? I don't know how to say that one. Do great with plants. Yeah, there's some random fish out there that do well with plants, but I would just say generally speaking, what to do. Donald's Fish Vibes. Tonight is election night here in Trinidad and Tobago, so I'm organizing some finger foods and popcorn. Nail-biting, blockbuster moving setting. Ooh, I wonder... I wonder if like the elections in Trinidad and Tobago are really an interesting one. Elections. And Tobago 2020. Let's see. Live blog Trinidad Tobago election day. General election is today. Trinidad Tobago, you are not kidding. Looks very exciting. Let's see. I think this looks like it isn't a video. You know, I feel like pretty much everything these days just pops up a video on autoplay. So I'm gonna try to avoid that. The general election race is going to be a tight one tonight between the People's National Movement and the United National Congress, according to several analysts. Ooh. Political analyst Dr. Winford James, however, thinks the People's National Movement will win the election. All right. Hey, if it's a close race, generally speaking, and just in a real general way, you know, generally speaking, should be... I don't know if it's necessarily representative, but it will have some representation of a good portion of the populace, so typically a good thing, right? I don't know. What do I know? But that's good times. It definitely is that today. Chris says, do that face behind you. No, I'm not going to do that. I only do that for massive super chats. But I already sung you guys a Monday song today, so although we haven't had any super chats, I just did that before. Fish and Shrimp by Rich. Is this a fish channel? No, it's not. JH Aquatics, what's up? Good day, sir. James Shepard, MD, and George Farmer just seem to do the same, really. Make good content, but once you have seen a few videos, they're all the same, really. That's certainly not limited to those two guys. That's limited to everybody. I know. So if you're familiar with PewDiePie, he is the biggest YouTuber on YouTube, right? PewDiePie did a wonderful analysis of this. Whether anybody thinks he's good or bad or indifferent or whatever, his analysis on YouTube and people essentially getting tired and worn out was wonderful. He did a great job of it. And the synopsis that I could give you is that regardless of who you are or what it is that you're doing, people will get tired of what you're doing. They won't like what you're doing. They'll have critique for what you're doing, all that kind of stuff. So it's not really something worth getting completely wound up by it, right? And a good example of that would be your favorite band from when you were 18 years old, right? You probably listened to a record over and over and over and over and over again. You love that band, love that band, love that band. And by the time you were 24, you probably had a new favorite band, right? Or, records you're listening to. Maybe you started out listening to country music and decided to transition to Western. I don't know. So it definitely could be, you could be listening to country, you could be listening to Western, and, your tastes change. It's just part of being a human that, like, you don't want to eat only macaroni every night for dinner forever. But yeah, I feel like at least MD has personality. George Foreman gets so boring and robotic after a while. I think the difference between the two there is sponsorship. I think, personally, if you watch a George Farmer video, he has like 4 or 5 corporate sponsors at the beginning of every video. So I'm sure he is sort of limited by that fact. If I had to guess, if I had to make a guess. So I think that there's probably a lot of elements that he may or may not want to add to a video. But I do know that from like all the political channels I'm involved with and that kind of stuff, like they have to send these videos into their sponsors and get them approved. They have to get them approved to whether or not the sponsor is like, okay, cool. Yeah, we're cool with our name being on this video, which is also one of the reasons that I would rather have fan funding, from people that are fans of the channel, people that are involved with the channel, with the creation of stuff. That's going to be a lot of my stuff moving forward. To be honest with you guys, a lot of the live stream content and everything is likely to change at some point. I don't know when, but at some point it's likely to change. I'm considering moving over some of the live stream stuff, not all of it. I'll probably keep doing like Fridays on YouTube or something like that. But I have been inspired by one of my favorite creators to realize that, over on Twitch, it's a lot easier to have a back and forth conversation in the creative process of making videos and stuff. So I think I'm probably going to start doing that over there. So at some point in time, you never know when that will be. And I'm not like warning people or anything like that, but people can help out with, hey, don't forget this part. Like this part, I need to know how this part of whatever this video works. Oh, wait a minute. Try to put this at the beginning instead of in the middle, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. And we'll see how it goes. I've really, really, really over the years wanted to be able to build a team that could work on stuff. And I think the reality is there's no way I'm ever going to be able to build a team in person. Not only with the coronavirus, but like trying to pay people to work is just not worked out. So I'm thinking that that's kind of the best middle ground of like what I'd want to do moving forward, you know. Started listening to E40 when I was 16, just downloaded his new album. Well, yes, you can definitely download the same stuff that you like, but oftentimes people need to take a break from things or whatever. Texas Andy says, so I guess that's one thing about not getting sponsored. You can say any crazy thing that you want. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, you know, and I talked about this a while ago. Like somebody was, they were like, optimistically, what's the deal? So we've already had like 6 people unsubscribe since this video went live, but we have over 27,000 people watching this channel in some form or another. The reality is, like, if you had all of those people chipping in 50 cents a month, you'd be talking about a budget of about 13,000, which means I'd be able to pay my bills and have a budget for production. And we just haven't hit that point yet. And the reality is, some of the experts that I've talked to over the years are, it's pretty much your subscriber count relates to about $1 per year. So if you're at like 30,000 subscribers, you're supposed to make 30,000 a year. If you're at 100,000 subscribers, you should be making 100,000 a year. If I was over 100,000, that would actually give me money to pay an employee, you know. Pear Tree Aquatics says, please do. I have a Prime sub over on Twitch waiting for you. I wonder if I don't even know if I do have a Twitch account, but I don't know if it, I don't know if it's monetized or not. Let me go to Twitch TV. I wonder if oh crap, something's going to play. Oh, stop that. I wonder if I'm even monetizable or not. I don't think so. Let's go to my channel. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even think, oh, I have a follower. I don't know. I don't know if it's, I don't know if it's even possible to follow me or if it even has anything to do with anything at this point. Let's highlight that. I think that's right. Copy. No, that's not right. Oops. Let's go back. Am I copying the right thing? Control copy. There. So it's literally like pretty simple, you know. But there will be a point where I'm going to go live there. I'm going to do a couple announcements on YouTube and that kind of stuff. So before I do it, but I'm thinking that that's most likely like a better way to apply within the creative space other than with YouTube. Like YouTube's just not, it's not really designed for that. And we really like end up in a position of having dead air, and dead air on YouTube just does not work well. And one of the big reasons for that is like, you can't play music in the background or anything like that. Whereas on Twitch, I could at least have the music playing and be like, all right, you guys can see me working on something. If I was to be, you know, painting something or whatever, you guys can at least figure out like, oh, he's doing that right now. So it makes sense that there's just some music playing, you know, then, whereas YouTube doesn't really do that because I could play like the worst, repetitive beat that I have. So like, let's go to files. Oh, yeah, I updated everything. So of course everything's closed. All my files, guys, all my files are closed. In here, what hard drive is that in? Man, how do I get it right the first time? That's just so wild. So let's see. I think I keep those in here. So we want date created. What is this? This is pretty chill. So you guys can kind of see the issue of, like, I can play music. I can play, like, artless music that I own the rights to. So there won't be any copyright claim to that because I pay to license that song. But that's not what I listen to while I'm working or whatever. You know what I mean? So that's kind of the issue would be, like, yeah, I could play this in the background, you know, and be like, yeah, but... while this music is good, like this is a good tune for like a background, just me chilling here, like I'm just feeling this vibe. We're driving around in a car, but I don't have any music of me driving around in a car or whatever. So you kind of get the idea of like, all right, YouTube doesn't really work that well for this kind of stuff. Whereas if I was to be working or whatever, I'm generally listening to more specifically designed music that is for music listening and not like being a part of like a video scene in the background or something like that. You know what I mean? So, Pear Tree Aquatics says, you've probably answered this a million times, but what do you do for a living? All right, it's many varied things. I do work part-time for the aquarium co-op, so I do a lot of their manufacturing, plumbing, installations, all of that kind of stuff. Not for customers, but aquarium co-op is the customer. So I repair and replace things that are broken. I've, painted the building. I built all of those fish tank stands that you've seen in the warehouse videos. I installed all those tanks. I plumbed all those tanks. I built the reactors, set up the lights, all that kind of stuff. Blah, blah, blah. Right? So I do a bunch of that kind of part-time. I do that, when I say I do that part-time, that's 2 full days out of my week. So it's normally takes 2 to 2.5 hours to drive up there, an hour to drive back, and I'm generally there for about a 10 or 11 hour period, depending on the time I can get there and then the time I can be able to leave, right? So it encompasses the whole entire day. So I work 2 days a week doing that. Typically during the year, I will be doing home remodels, painting houses, repairing plumbing in people's houses and electrical and stuff like that. I also paint murals. I paint paintings. I painted this painting of myself, which is pretty vain. I'll admit it. Super vain to paint pictures of yourself, but I also have lots of other paintings around my house of other people. I also have a painting right there that is not of anybody. Some paintings over there. Some paintings over there. So that is part of my job. YouTube is part of my job. This is part of how I pay my bills, like doing YouTube videos via Patreon and via people hitting the join button. That's a big portion of how I can pay my bills. But yeah, I earn a living through doing all sorts of stuff. This year is been flipped up on its head, thrown out the window, and totally screwed up. I had a bunch of paint jobs for this summer that were just completely canceled, which would have helped with the travel budget for next year. That was my big plan. Each one of those jobs I was going to make a good amount to be able to do the 3 trips that we wanted to do next year, which those are completely canceled. That's not going to happen. Doing those jobs isn't going to happen. Hopefully being able to do those trips next year is going to happen. Is it going to happen? I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. So all that stuff got canceled. Generally, any kind of odd job or anything like that has been canceled. I'm not even supposed to come in contact with people. Early this year, I caught pneumonia. I had a bunch of complications with that. I had continued lung issues, which I'm not going to get into. It doesn't really matter. It's just a long, stupid personal story. But regardless of that, the doctors didn't even want me like going to the store, let alone going up and going to work and stuff like that until we got that sorted out. Luckily, I've been able to work here remotely. I'm building, if you've ever seen an aquarium co-op video, the plant racks that go in those tanks, that's yours truly. I build those, and they are monumentally laborious. Every single one of them requires cuts for the legs. You have to cut the thing to shape. You have to sand all of those cuts down. Each one gets 21 holes drilled in it that are specifically whatever the millimeter. I don't think I'm supposed to tell you guys what size the millimeter holes are, but you take a specific drill bit. I have 10 or maybe even 12 of those drill bits now that I have like 10 or 12 of those drill bits now. I have to cycle through them because every time you cut those holes, they overheat. And then the next hole isn't straight. Then you have to sand all those. Then you have to glue the legs on. Then you have to let them dry. Blah, 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 whatever. You know, it's just, but I've been able to do that here. I have like 220 of them here I'm working on right now. So, been a lot of that stuff. So I've been doing a lot of plastic manufacturing here in my own shop. On my property here, which, by the way, is a super old building that's probably going to fall over at some point in time. It's nothing fancy about it. I wish I had a fancy shop, but everything is little bit by little bit working our way forward, and I'm totally happy with my life. I really have I honestly don't have any complaints other than things just being frustrating sometimes. That's probably the extent of what's going on. Health is improving. Things are just kind of moving along, and it's just a ton of stuff I do on a regular basis. So it's just a whatever. Steve Bearteach. Sorry, I always want to say Bearteich, but it's Bearteach. Says house painting, interior, exterior. I have done loads of interior work. I used to do drywall and all that kind of stuff, and I still do if I'm doing a remodel, but I don't focus on that at all. I sort of focus on doing exterior painting these days. I have all the paint sprayers, drop cloths, scaffolding, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff to do exterior. I don't really like going into people's houses. Honestly, I'm not a big fan of it. I don't know why. Maybe I'm weird. It's not a maybe am I weird. I am weird. But going inside people's houses is almost always just problematic. So if people are out of town or something, I could do your interior, but it's really weird to do the interior of people's houses when like all their furniture and stuff's still in there. It's just kind of a nightmare. Texas Andy says, I feel you, Joel. All my home remodels, construction in general as a whole has come to a halt. Yeah, it really has. It really has. Oh, excuse me. Oh, God. Hit my cough button. Sorry about that. I was trying to drink my coffee while talking, and it didn't work. It went into my lungs. Oh, my God. It just went down the windpipe. Yeah. So, there's a lot of jobs and everything like that have come to a halt. So it's really one of those things that a lot of us are having a hard year this year. It's going to be a hard year next year. I would recommend everybody to get prepared for that, psychologically, physically, whatever it is that you can, whatever it is that you can do to continue moving forward and being prepared for all that kind of stuff. A lot of stuff is changing. Stay on your toes, figure out what it is that you can do, and keep moving forward. Dave says, I'm a DIY handyman, been one for decades. I'm consistently in awe of the pros, the weird, random, and awful things I've found doing my own homes. Yep, you're amazing. It is wild. I don't know what it's like throughout the rest of the world, but it's crazy wild in the Pacific Northwest out here. A lot of our housing was built through these boom and bust times. A lot of it was built by pretty shady contractors, people that were just building stuff at this astounding rate. Our book club will be this weekend, barring any kind of craziness going on Saturday. Our book club actually regards to a lot of that. If people are wondering about what the book club is, what is the book of the book club, I can... So I can actually grab the book here. This is the book for the book club. Oh Lord, it's come down in price, dude. $10.77. I was more than that when I bought it. So the paperback is only $10.77. But this actually highlights some of the issues with the boom and bust around those times. When they were happening, they built these giant tracts of homes essentially. And throughout these periods of time when they just kind of awarded a contractor to be able to build essentially tens of thousands of homes, really, when you get down to it. It's like maybe one track was, 1,400 houses. The next track was 3,000 houses. The next track was 8,000 houses, whatever. It just kept going like that. And oftentimes you run into these houses and you realize, like, it's the cheapest electrical. Like one of the, so this whole neighborhood I was working on, I was doing a bathroom remodel on a house that, like, the slab was cracked. When there's no reason it should have been cracked other than they used poor concrete. It wasn't to the proper depth, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. So we tore all that concrete out, redid the floor, redid the pad, tied it in with rebar, blah, blah, blah. But when we got to the exterior wall is the point that I wanted to point out. On a stud construction building, you're essentially, you frame the studs, you add the plywood, add the home wrap, add the siding, there you go. Inside is insulation and your electrical and everything's inside the wall. What is super funny is that this contractor paid somebody to cut all of the plywood into strips that were just proud of what the siding would be. So what they did is they put the studs up, they put no wrap behind it, so there's no vapor barrier in between the air quote siding and the studs and the insulation behind it. Now, they took all those sheets of plywood and just overlapped them as the siding and then painted it. So the plywood looks like it's siding, but it's actually, they never had to pay for the siding portion of the jobs because they turned the plywood into the siding. Which is just, of course, I mentioned this to some of the permit and inspector guys, and they're like, yeah, I've definitely seen a lot of that. And it turns out a lot of the other houses around the neighborhood were built by the same contractor and built the same way. Somehow they passed inspection. I don't know how, but these were built in like the late 60s. So, whoever it was that inspected them just inspected them all the exact same crappy way. But you start to go and you pull an electrical box out and you realize it's not even installed properly. The wiring is just all twisted around and stuffed in. And you're like, how did this place not burn down, fall down, flood, or whatever in this time frame? And the reality is, like, I'm sure people were just fixing it and just hoping it was fine until it was, whatever. But it just really is just a testimonial of like, when they say things aren't built like they used to, is supposed to be a testimonial to the quality of craftsmanship. Now, I know that's how people refer to stuff because the stuff that exists from back then is typically the super high quality stuff. It's rarely all the other stuff that has either just disintegrated, been thrown away, broken, burned down, whatever, any of that kind of stuff. It's rarely that stuff that they're talking about. They're almost always talking about the top of the line stuff, that is the deal. Dave's Aquarium says, I'll share a pic or two on the Discord of a real winner I found in my house. It's special. I will gladly check that out. Pear Tree Aquatics says, do you have to be a member to access the Discord? You YouTube member, or you can join up on Patreon. Unfortunately, like, it's how I kind of have to moderate my my personal time. That's the reality. Like, you don't have to be a member to come to the live streams or see any of the videos or any of that kind of stuff. But if you're literally like, hey, I want to talk to you at 10 o'clock on a Tuesday night or something, and want to ask a question, it's just kind of how it works, right? Of like, well, people chipping in $1 a month on Patreon. Okay, I'm all for it. The sad reality is that most people in the U.S. have cable, and the way that I look at it is like, Vicky and I got rid of cable TV, right? Which I believe at the time was like $95 a month for like all of the channels, right? So we got like, Discovery Channel, ESPN, the local channels. I think we had like HBO and Showtime, but not the other ones. We didn't have like Cinemax or whatever. I don't know, but we just basically had all these channels on with the cable TV, right? And then we had you have to pay for the DVR and all this like other crap or whatever. And I literally just said, like, I'm not paying for this anymore. We can't do this. This is ridiculous, right? So we got rid of that portion, and we just went down to internet, which it took our bill from like, I think our bill was like $180 a month for all the stuff that we had on there. And then we dumped all that stuff, and then I switched to a different internet provider. So we have gigabit on fiber optic now. So obviously I pay a little bit more because I do YouTube and uploading and downloading and blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. So we got rid of all that stuff, and I just took into consideration, like, okay, well, I'm going to take some of that money every month, and I'm going to donate that to the people that I really consume content from. So, there's some YouTube channels, there's some podcasts, there's some artists, a couple bands and stuff like that. It's like, oh, $4 a month for you guys to keep making stuff? Dude, I'll give $4 a month to Devin Townsend, right? Like, that feels like a sponsorship to me that's legit, because I'm probably not going to buy his album, but I would definitely like to listen to his podcast. I would like to listen to his new tracks that are coming out, like the new music that's coming out. So I'm like, yeah, that's totally worth it to me for somebody who makes a ton of content that I'm happily get to listen to and stuff. Like, I could play Devin Townsend track for you right now, but you can't do that on YouTube. But like on Twitch, I could potentially just play it in the background, and you guys could be like, oh, cool, that's not bad, I like that. Or, oh, that sucks, let me mute this until the guy comes back and is talking about something. Big D Smoke says, I probably wouldn't have DirecTV if I didn't have to retire, but being home 21 to 23 hours a day changes things. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's a reality, like, that everybody would have to kind of address in their own lives. But I just don't ever find myself missing or wanting to watch any of that network TV. Like, there's just nothing there for me. In Dallas, Texas, I pay just under $50 for 100 megabytes. Yeah, that sounds about right. For like 100 meg up and down service, about $50 a month. That sounds right. Joel G says, you guys pay heaps for network stuff. Like, isn't your internet $100 plus a month? I'd have to look up my bill, but I think mine is a gigabyte on fiber optic, and I pay for something else included in that, just security, VPN stuff. I think it's like $95 or something like that a month. I don't know. I'd have to go look it up, but it's all budgeted in and just automatically comes out. So I don't know. But yeah, it's much less than it was. That's for sure. Dave's Aquariums. The only thing that was really better, like lumber 2x4s, were actually 2 inches by 4 inches. Well, that's nowadays what's referred to as dimensional lumber. Dimensional lumber will be 2 inches by 4 inches. They're one of the big reasons that we utilize the smaller lumber. So I'm trying to remember exactly what it is. So it's crap. I'm gonna totally screw this up. So 3.5 by 1.5 is what it should be. Yeah, but either way, the reasons for that is all of the efficiencies that we have now. We realize that 3.5 inch plus a sheet of drywall works for what we're doing. But in the newer construction, this is where it gets kind of interesting. Houses are now actually built out of 2x6. Now, the reason for that, in a traditional 2x4 stud framed house, you have a 2x4 every 16 inches, right? Every 16 inches, you have a 2x4, which is actually 1.5 by 3.5. But regardless, what they figured out through hurricane testing and efficiency testing, that a 2x6 every 24 inches is actually sturdier, uses less lumber, and costs less labor, on top of the fact that the efficiency you're able to build within a 2x6 wall saves in heating costs, saves in energy production, saves in waste from energy production forever. It turns out it's much more stable also, and doesn't blow over in a hurricane as much. So you will start to see those in probably 40 years when they're getting remodeled. Right now, you're probably not going to see any of them unless you happen to go to a new job site that is actually building in that manner. But yeah, turns out 2x6 on 24 inch is much more efficient, mainly because the R rating of a 2x4 or a 2x6 is generally in the range of 3, I believe, which is a very low R rating, which means it's not very, the insulative properties of it is not very high or low. It just means it's going to let cold air in the winter, and it's going to let hot in the summer. And you don't want that. All right, guys. Well, my timer is starting to go off. We're an hour and a half in. I want to say thanks for everybody for coming out today, whatever today's weird show is. We answered some fish questions. We talked about some aquariums. Talked about construction. Talked about my personal relationship with the Earth planet. We had zero super chats today. 0 new members today. We had 0, just 0, 0, 0. All just zeros across the board. So that makes it pretty easy to not have to give shout outs for any of those people. But we're definitely 90 minutes in. And that's pretty much where we're at for the day here. I want to say thanks to our first people into the chat. Why not? Why don't we do that? I think my chat is run past its ability to get all the way back up to the top, so now I can't remember. Now I can't remember who was first to the chat. Miradul Singh does Alternanthera renecii variegated Ludwigia inclinata red, Ludwigia ovalis, and Rotella rotundifolia Ceylon pink need CO2. Oh my god. That's so many plants you asked me all about in one sentence. My basic answer to that would be yes. Just if you're asking the question of if your tank needs CO2, I would say the advantages to getting CO2 so far outweigh the disadvantages. The disadvantages is spending a little bit of money, getting it set up, getting all that stuff done. The advantages are significant. The advantages are wildly significant. So it really is just so many more advantages than disadvantages. So that's what I would recommend. Does it need CO2? I mean, every plant needs CO2 to some degree. So I would just say, just go ahead and do it. You know, that would be the best thing that I could, the best advice I could give. That's it for today's show, August 10th, 2020. Episode 9,400,262,940. So that's it. Have a good Monday out there. I will talk to you on Friday or Saturday. Who knows?